One of the things is that we can refuse normalization. Refuse normalization. We have to talk about it. We have to remember it. We have to teach our children that these things are not gossip. They're not celebrity drama. There's harm. There's times in our history where we have pulled the curtain back. Not enough to show the whole stage, but just enough to remind us something has been happening in the shadows. And the recent release of the Epstein files feels like one of those moments. I had something else planned to talk about, but last night I was laying in bed and doom scrolling through TikTok, and my heart hurt. I had anxiety, and I said something to my husband, and he, always the fixer, said, well, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, having anxiety isn't going to help anything, which is true. But it made me pause and think, well, what can I do? So many people are outraged by these files that have been released, and there's no accountability. But I'm not in any position to arrest someone or do something considerable about it. So what can I do? And I wanted to look at that from a spiritual place. If we are to look at these files and what has came out through a fifth dimensional, multi-dimensional lens, what can we actually do about the heaviness that lies on our chest? So yeah, we're going to talk about what's been released. And we're going to talk about the strange language that's used in these documents and the networks of power. The things that have been whispered about for a long time, or your conspiratorial-minded friend, or perhaps you are the conspiratorial-minded person, has been saying for a while, but it's out in the open. Like I said, they pulled back the curtain, and it feels like we're supposed to just say, whoa, that was a weird show, and move on. Keep paying taxes. So what can we do? When evil is finally exposed, what are we supposed to do with the truth? This is Rooted Frequency. Let's ground this in reality for a moment. The government released millions of pages of Epstein-related material. But where things really start to feel like I'm in some sort of simulation or an audacious play, the DOJ itself acknowledged that it identified over 6 million pages relevant to the investigation. So they've released about 3.5 million. And they have said they're closing the chapter. Only about 3.5 million. Survivors, advocates, say they were told millions more documents are still under review. But the DOJ says that it's legally closing the chapter. Morally, emotionally, spiritually, it feels like a wide open wound. And then the details in the documents are nauseatingly sick. And I've gone down these rabbit holes over the past years when various things have come out. And we know that this stuff was happening, but to have it all rolled out in practically a novel with pictures of children is something that it's very difficult to think, okay, I'm supposed to just go watch a movie with these people in it now. I'm supposed to still pay taxes when these people are literally eating babies. Oh, I'm sorry. Pizza. The word pizza actually appears almost 1,000 times alongside other words that seem to not mean what they are saying them to mean, like cheese, grape soda, and Chinese cookie. We could pretend like this is just food. But if you read these files, first off, the way that it's talked about doesn't make any logical sense. And second, my God, I don't talk about pizza that much. I do love pizza. And I'm, middle class, so I guarantee you I eat way more actual pizza than Jennifer Aniston. But she sure does come up a lot around pizza.
We've known each other for years.
Yeah.
You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love
Yes,
a
we
pizza.
do.
It's so good. So.
Aniston will say to me in the middle of the night whenever I'm with her, something cool. She'll be like, you see? And I'll be like, no, you're right. This is great. This is great. And then the next morning, she'll text me and say, I know something, Wednesday night if you want. I'll be like, come on, we just did that Saturday thing. Let's...
She likes to. She's busy all the time. I know she's the greatest host, but
She is a good
I'm like I'm going to bed at 9. I can't come over. Your thing starts at 8:30. So
the parties are incredible at her house too.
Yeah, she does have good parties, and she makes good pizza as well.
She makes great pizza.
Wonderful pizza.
You told a story about going and having pizza at the Clooney's in Lake Como.
Yeah, that's all in Aniston. Like George and I would love you to come over for pizza, but
How was the pizza? Was it good? Did he make it
Amal's
himself?
pizza was better than Clooney's. They both made. Everybody made a certain kind of pizza.
There's no pizza we didn't love.
Something that he doesn't.
5 different kinds. 5 different kinds or 6 different kinds of pizza that night. Clooney's was excellent.
So we see these text threads asking for head counts for pizza. These systems of darkness using coded language, specific phrasing, repeated patterns. What it points to is something bigger. That this wasn't random. This was systemic and normalized, not only within a network, but little things have trickled down that have constantly tried to normalize what these people are doing our entire lives. And I'm pissed and I'm nauseous. And I may not have a ton of followers. And this wasn't what I was going to talk about. But I can't not talk about it. The names alone that circulate. Michael Jackson.
I don't know if I should tell you this, but I don't know who may be listening. There may be a group of people that want to get rid of me. You don't want me here anymore.
I don't understand. What do you mean? Talk to me.
I can't talk about it over the phone. I don't know what's going to happen, but I just feel in my soul, only God knows, they could shoot me. They could stab me. They could frame me and say I overdosed you with drugs. They can do a lot of things.
Who could do these things?
It's not the government. It's more than the government. But I don't know, Tita. I don't care. They can kill me. I don't even care my life anymore. I just want my children to be okay. because I want them to be safe.
Michael.
I gotta go.
Leonardo DiCaprio, Kevin Spacey, Mick Jagger, Naomi Campbell, Cameron Diaz, Jennifer Aniston, Elon Musk, Trump. Appearing in a document or flight log alone doesn't necessarily mean a conviction. I do understand that, Epstein was a very wealthy man, okay? So I'm sure there are a handful of people who maybe innocently interacted with him, but even then, like even just looking at my neighborhood, I hear rumors about people. So you're telling me you're one of the rich, elite, powerful people, and you haven't, at the very least, heard things about this man. So at the very, very least, you're looking the other way for money or some sort of transaction, even if innocent and not illegal. Why are we not even questioning at the very smallest level the morality of all of this? And like I said, if that is truth for some people, it is a very small percentage. This is huge. It paints a picture of the comfort and normalization that these environments became among powerful elites. It reveals a culture where boundaries are blurred and darkness simply isn't shocking anymore. And spiritually, that's the real issue. Because evil rarely looks like a monster at first. It looks like influence, access, privilege, parties, power, until harm becomes routine. And these people have put it right in our face for years, just laughing at us mere mortals, worrying if we can scrounge enough money together for rent, and they're going to get pizza from a farm that's literally spitting out fresh newborn pizza for them. And if that makes you sick to your stomach, if your chest too feels heavy, and if your mind spirals into how did we let this happen? How did it get so far? That's what I'm asking today. I know it doesn't mean that we're weak. These things, these reactions mean that we're conscious and alive. Your spirit's doing what it was designed to do. We were designed to recognize wrong and long for justice. Our culture, on the other hand, trains us to numb out. There are countless videos of powerful men saying how this needs to be dropped, how it's an overreaction. I can't stress enough to you that if it's too much and you're saying, I don't want to see that, it's too much, I can't, I urge you to go look. Things are censored out. You don't have to see actual CP images, cheese pizza. But we need to be outraged. Our culture is just training us to numb out, scroll past, shrink it down, and have people have a reaction similar to what my husband said to me. Well, we can't do anything about it anyway. But spiritually speaking, feeling nothing feels so dangerous to me. This squirmy discomfort that I feel It's like an alarm system going off in my body, compassion alarm system. So the issue isn't that we feel it. The issue is that no one ever taught us where to place that feeling. Besides burying it, looking the other way, insisting it doesn't exist, we're not really supposed to look it in the face. But with these files, it's in our face. And I encourage you to face it. If we look to the Bible, it's very clear about injustice. And let me just say, it's very, very clear that the people running our world and the people controlling most of the world's money are not Christians. They are not God-fearing people. I don't even think that they are satanic worshipers. I think it goes beyond that. Because if you really look into Satan, it's fallen, he's a fallen angel. There's other religions that at their core encourage blood sacrifice and child stuff. Ephesians 5:11 says, "Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them." Expose them. Not excuse them. Not spiritual bypass them. Not pretend they don't exist, but expose them. Jesus himself flipped tables when exploitation was happening in the temple. He didn't whisper. He didn't sugarcoat. He disrupted. And I don't care if YouTube wants to say that I'm spreading misinformation, because all I'm simply talking about is files that the Department of Justice publicly released. We have to talk about it. I feel like I could absolutely cry for the victims of this. And the fact that they are protecting the names of the people involved in this harder than they're protecting the victims. And I almost feel like the word victim isn't even enough for this. It's shocking. Like, shocking. Pure evil. Like, that's what really made me want to make this episode, is that we talk a lot about the light and the darkness, and this isn't gossip. This isn't, one bad dude who did some bad things to kids. This is our world. And if you rounded up all the 1%ers, it would be very difficult to find a handful of them that have nothing to do with this. Throughout Scripture, we see this same rhythm. Exposure, grieving, but then we see action. So right now, I'm seeing exposure, partial exposure. I'm seeing a lot of grieving. Where's the action? Truth surfaces, hearts break, then people move on. We may not all be investigators or judges, but we are the public. We are the collective. We make up the majority, actually. And these people think they can do whatever they want and openly joke about it on talk shows and, their pizza parties and flaunt this disgusting evil in our faces. Sick, sick people. I can't anymore. It's hard because we feel beaten down. History has shown us that systems rarely change from the inside. Systems in general change when someone wants to be disruptive, refuse silence, and bless these victims who have come forward to try to do so. So I just didn't want to come on here and just tell you all of these horrible things. You can go doom scroll yourself if you haven't. But what can we do? There has to be something we can do. Like, I have to be able to do something with the weight on my chest. One of the things is that we can refuse normalization. Sorry. Refuse normalization. The greatest danger isn't slow justice. It's numbness. We have to talk about it. We have to remember it. We have to teach our children that these things are not gossip. They're not celebrity drama. There's harm. Awareness is the only way we can keep truth alive. Sorry, I actually had to pause it and pull myself together. Another thing we can do is pray with intention and not avoidance. We can pray for healing for the survivors, courage for the truth tellers, especially the ones that are in positions to actually make change, influencers, people like Candace Owens who aren't afraid to tell the truth and has a giant platform. We can continue to expose the hidden systems, and we can continue to protect our vulnerable children. The network of children's organizations that all of these people are connected to, missing children's organizations. They go to other countries and rescue kids. We can't let this happen anymore, at least, and it's like, maybe we won't be able to change anything. Maybe they're so powerful that the demon ball is going to come and destroy the earth. But you know what? When that happens, I sure as hell want to be the person fighting in the light and going down with a fight. Even if this rant doesn't get any attention, even if this podcast probably will get 20 views this episode, I hope that those 20 people are enraged. And as long as those 20 people kind of, talk to other people, I believe in the, network of everything spreading out. So that's why it felt so important to me. As a collective, the third thing is that we need to demand accountability. We need to support the investigative journalists. We need to follow advocacy groups. We need to contact representatives when transparency stalls, because pressure is the only way that we can create movement. Silence is very comfortable. for the corruption, for the evil. And the last thing that I felt like we could reasonably do is use our platforms for tools. And so many people are doing that on TikTok, and good for you. Good for you for spreading this word. Good for the people reposting these disturbing videos and insights. Because social media isn't just entertainment. It's a consciousness amplifier where we can share information, highlight survivor voices, and discuss why the accountability matters. We can even utilize AI to help organize research, spread awareness, and communicate clearly. Technology can be a torch when it's guided by integrity. So, what would God have us do in practical ways? Prayer leads, action follows. So ask after you pray, where can I protect? Where can I help? Where can I bring light? Because no matter what, we all can make a small difference. And like I said, the trickle effect, it can end up making a big difference if several of us smaller creators speak up for things. You know, not caring that the algorithm is going to be super confused because I don't usually talk about this stuff. But I don't care. I'm just sick. Sick over how sick it is. So I encourage you to speak up when something feels wrong, to support shelters, advocacy groups, and mentoring programs that you have thoroughly investigated, or just get involved, because we're all probably poor. Do what you can. I'm going to try to model courage to speak and be a place of compassion and hold space for those who need it. Because God doesn't want us to sit here with anxiety. He calls us to a faithful vigilance. And then all we can really do is trust Him with what we cannot control. Your responsibility is your sphere of influence, and God handles the outcomes. This is a heavy one, so I thank you if you stuck with me this far. Everything is about balance. My beautiful, beautiful souls who stuck with me this long. Most of us do care very deeply. And we do not need to drown in despair, but instead stay informed and also not live in fear. Balance. Jesus cared about suffering and still rested, spoke truth and still found peace. We are not meant to carry the entire world, but you were meant to be a light in the part of the world you touch. Darkness only survives in secrecy. Light grows in awareness. And every time you choose truth, every time you refuse to look away, every time you pray for justice, you participate in the quiet dismantling of evil. Stay rooted, stay awake. I love you. See you in the next one. Bye. Everything is connected. Energy, science, quantum physics. This beautiful practice of being rooted in the frequency of love, light, and unity. We are inviting the collective consciousness to awaken and ascend.